we would have showings lined up for a Sunday. I'd have like an hour of showings. I'd text in the morning like, hey, you ready? Like, confirmed for 12 to 1, right? You're going to leave the apartment. Everything's good. Yeah, everything's good. I'm ready. And then I would get a text, like, literally as I'm walking into the building, saying hi to the doorman. Hey, Mallory, I'm not going to be able to leave the apartment today. I did mushrooms last night and I'm still tripping. I did mushrooms this morning and I thought I would be in a better place right now, but I'm not. I can't even get dressed. Like, just constantly canceling all of my appointments, not with notice, but like right before they started. And I was like, how in the heck am I going to sell this apartment? And I was like, I tell her mom, like, I love you guys, but like, this is what I'm dealing with.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to my new podcast. I'm going to be chatting with your favorite agents, realtors, brokers, and we've got 10 main questions that we're going to go over and get to know them and their career and some of their favorite houses, or least favorite houses. And today, my very special first guest is Mallory Bogard. We're both University of Oklahoma Sooner alums. We're both from Oklahoma, and I'm super excited to have you.
Thank you for having me, my friend. Thank you for letting me be your guinea pig.
Of course, anytime.
And thank you for matching me.
Yeah, I have to have all my guests match now.
Yeah, starting something. We're setting traditions around here.
Should we get right into it, or you want to give me a little intro about you? And
Yeah,
you give it.
I'll give you a little intro.
Yeah, give me an intro.
Mallory Bogard, co-founder with my husband, Brandon Bogard, of the Bogard New York team in New York City. And we have a team of 15, and we were ranked 8th in New York City for our team size last year, expecting to rank higher next year because we did more business this year. And we are we're a real estate household. We're eat, sleep, breathe. That's why Samir's my friend. It's all we do. It's real estate life. So
And
thank you.
How do the rankings work? It's just total sales, listings, volume?
Yes, that's a great question. So a lot of people quote the Real Trends rankings because they're last year they started being not self-reported. So they're based on like the brokerage has to submit actual records with addresses. They used to be self-reported, which was a lot of probably fluff.
And a lot of teams just drop after that?
Yeah. Yes, they did. True story. They're blaming it on the market, of course. It's the market. Okay. But yeah, they do by team size. So if you have like 5 people, you don't have to compete against the teams that have 15. We've been always in medium size. This year, we've had quite a few additions recently. So I don't know if we're going to make it. It will be on the cusp of medium to large because some of the 15 is staff members. But we're right on the cusp of medium and large. Next year will be large for sure. Yeah. It's a closed sales volume. So we ended the year at just under 100 million last year.
Wow.
And we're teetering for 2024 on 135 million. So we'll see what closings we can squeeze in by the end of the year.
You're going to do it. And so like what's number 1 at? $1 billion? How much do they do?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't remember what it was last year. I think, the people at the top, they have towers. They have really huge new developments in Manhattan.
Oh, yeah.
And it is. It is. And if their average price point's 8 million, they're slinging a bunch of those a year, 10 million. It's hard to not have a tower and compete at that level, but that's okay.
You're going to have a lot of towers next year.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. We're working on that, actually.
Awesome. I forgot to intro myself. I realized. I'm Samir. I run Zillow Gone Wild. It's been about actually 4 years, maybe tomorrow. I don't know when it is released, but 4 years in December. It's been a lot of fun. I've always been into real estate, so it's fun to be in this space. I'm not an agent or a broker or a realtor. I just get to have fun with it, which is always funny because when I talk to agents, you'll have work to do, but I don't have to sell anything. And it's been so much fun to be able to just, be top of mind. People are sending me listings. I never know what I'm going to get and see every day. So I've seen a lot of real estate in the past couple years. So let's get to this. We've already been.
And in addition to Zillow Gone Wild, you have your own account too. That's hysterical.
Thank you. So
Not to
yeah,
be
I
left out.
review I review celeb homes and give interior design critiques,
It's
reviews,
amazing.
insight, inspo.
The
And I've started to go to listings too, which has been a lot of fun to see things in person. So let's get to it. First listing ever. Tell us about your
my
first
first
listing
listing ever.
10
Um,
questions.
So when I first started in real estate in New York City, you have to work weird stuff, right? Like you're building up your business. You have to do the things that other real estate agents don't necessarily want to do, the ones with more experience. And um, we got a call into the team, like, does anybody want to take this? And nobody did. And then I get this call from this woman who says to me, I am the niece of somebody who owns an apartment in Park Slope, one bedroom co-op. She has lived there since she was 27. And she's in her mid 90s. So she was in a rental when she moved in there. It changed into a co-op over the years. Her and her husband bought it, lived there forever. And she said her estate's running out of money, but I don't want to move her out of her apartment because she is the only home she's ever known. And can you sell the apartment with her in it? So like there are life tenancy situations. Somebody buys something for cheap. If the person's old enough, they're hedging their bets that they won't live to be 110, they'll buy the apartment for cheap, renovate it, flip it for a return. And so we tried. And so I said, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to get some experience in Park Slope. I love that neighborhood. I had been selling apartments like other people's listings. I had been working open houses for free, like a piece of humble pie. And just really like when I got into real estate, I came from 10 years in corporate and I just I felt like I was starting over, but you're also like bringing skill sets with you that you don't even realize at the time are actually going to be very impactful after you get your foundation set up. So I was like, yeah, let's go. I'll sell anything, like didn't care price point. I didn't give a little old lady inside. Sure, cool, let's do it. And it took us over a year to sell it, but we finally did. But it was a fun experience because she did not know that we were selling her apartment. She didn't need to know. And I would go over there to watch Jeopardy with her. And we would have a showing, and I'd be like, "Oh, so and so is going to stop by," and she'd be like, "Oh, that's lovely." And we would be sitting there watching Jeopardy. The buyer for the showing would arrive. They would come inside, tour the home. They would know the situation, and we'd be like, "Oh, this is so and so," and she'd be like, "Well, hi," and that was it. Like that's what we did for a year, and finally sold the apartment. And she, because her estate was like running low on funds because she lived to be, in her mid 90s. And the sale of the apartment afforded her the care that she needed to kind of carry out the rest of her days. But that was my first sale. And people, yeah, when you're building your real estate career, you do things that have weird situations, but it's still like one of my favorite stories. So
Mhm.
the good fun stuff happens at the beginning and with the like interesting clients that nobody else will take on. So, and I call it the sale with the little old lady inside. So, she lived for another 2 years. She made it just after her 100th birthday, which was really what her family was hoping for. And she never knew that the apartment had sold, but she was technically,
Here's
that's
our
it.
first 90.
That's it.
I love Megan Trainor on the TV, and I love this DVD tape combo. But this seems about right for a 90-year-old co-op. How much did it sell for?
I think we sold for 505,000. Do you want to hear the fun story after that?
Yes, tell me.
So the buyers that bought it, they had originally planned on living there, but they went through a separation after right around the time that Mary died, and so the wife reached out to me, and even though they had a buyer's agent, she was like, "Hey, I would love it if you could like walk me through like some of my ideas for the renovation." So I advised on some of the renovation things. She did the renovation, decided she didn't want to live there. She had bought it with her ex-husband, and she sold it for I think 810,000, made an amazing return on it. She was very happy. everybody was happy. Those are the best deals when everyone's happy. Everyone feels like everyone was treated fair. But she made a really good um she made it off well with that one. But what was super cool is the guy who bought it when we sold it the second time renovated, he had met Mary in like the 60s or 70s. He used to come to
What?
parties in the building and had met Mary.
That's crazy.
I know, it was full circle for me.
That's so
And
fun.
the guy told me when he bought it, he was like a little bit older gentleman. He said, I'm going to die in this apartment too. So you're not going to be selling it again, but maybe you'll be selling it whenever I pass. But this is, I'm going to die in this apartment. And so, yeah, it was like fun, full circle for me. So
That's crazy. That's such a
yeah.
fun, like, you never know who you're going to meet and who's going to, like, a small world kind of story.
Yes, it's such a small world once you're in it. I feel like so many just connections that you wouldn't expect. So
Totally. So that was your first sale?
that was my first sale. That was my first sale that like I like yeah, that
Did the whole
my
thing.
listing.
You-
Yeah, no, that was my first listing. I helped a buyer in the East Village. So after I was I think maybe around the time. Yeah, like the first year is tough. Like you don't make any money. Like people who say, "Oh yeah, you can start making money in 6 to 9 months." That's like not realistic actually. It's a year and a half. In New York City, if you're lucky and if you work your ass off. But as soon as I could, I started buying actually Zillow leads, which was like a pay to play. Like you can buy like buyer connection leads, and I met like for in total that year like 60 buyers through the program, but one of them bought, and the one that bought was technically my first like all by myself completely my sale, and she actually is buying a new apartment right now. We're in contract. She's buying a new apartment and also in the East Village. So she bought a $900,000 co-op, and she is purchasing right now a $3.5 million condo. So it's cool to like watch people's lives graduate with yours. You know, like you go on life journeys with people. People call their real estate agent all the time for random things. I get texts, should I paint my wall this color or this color? I'm like, what color do you like better? What color do you want the wall to be? Like, what's better for resale? When are you reselling? Oh, I don't know, not for a while. Then paint it whatever color you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Please. But they like ingrain us into their lives, and it's a fun part of the job. So
It's good that they are because I've definitely seen so many homes where they never, considered resale, which good for you to like actually like live in your home, but
yeah,
also a little bit think about if you ever need to sell it, what kind of adjustments you're making to it because some of them are like you got to knock it down. You can't redo it. You
yeah.
can't fix it.
Yeah, I know. And I review plans sometimes because plans are really, more firm and where people are putting bathrooms. And I love that side of it. And we do that for developers, of course, too now. But sometimes you see plans and you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you sent this to me to give me some advice because this is really bad. Like some things are unsellable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People always make their own decision in real estate, in
Yeah,
renovations, and
yeah,
construction.
yes.
That's where you also have to be there all the time, or else they're gonna do the thing that you didn't want them to do.
I got sent some floor plans a few days ago that are I will send you a screen. I wish I would have gotten it earlier. I should have taken a screenshot of it, but it's like one of the worst plans I've ever seen in my whole life.
I love it.
I was like,
Maybe they used AI.
they may have. They may have. That's how bad it was. They put like the refrigerator next to the balcony door. Like Fisher Price, my first construction project. I have no idea what they were thinking. I have no clue.
That's why they went to you. They knew you would tell them
Oh
no
my God,
fridge by the balcony,
please.
unless you're sitting outside and you just want to grab a beer from the porch. Maybe it was strategic like that. Let's get to cheapest listing ever.
Cheapest listing. So these people went to UT actually. They went to Texas. We
Not
we can
surprised.
yeah, we can be friends. Oh, that's good actually. By $415,000. So they were actually happy because the wife had bought it like maybe 8 years before for 800-ish. So she made good money on it. And I think that's always that's what you always want. You want your clients to walk away with some return on their investment. But yeah, it took a year to sell because it was a studio, and studios in New York City can be extremely difficult, especially like studio co-ops. But we ended up closing for $415,000.
Nice.
It was
Well, not nice. I wish they lost.
long haul.
The Texas.
No. She had a lot of UT stuff in the apartment. I was like,
not gonna
do this.
You have to be virtual staging, which like clears it out and doesn't show any of it.
I know. This was like 3-4 years ago. I feel like virtual staging has come so far in just the last year. It's like it's much better now. Like I use it now, but I wouldn't a couple of years ago.
Now you kind of are like, some of them you're like, is that real? Is it not? But before I'm like, that chair is like this, like the room doesn't look like this. Why is the water in the pool like this?
There's like a fuzz around the furniture. It's not angled right.
If they want to stage it right, they have to add throw blankets, because that's how I know any house has been staged, like for real, especially like in LA. Like no normal person has that many throw blankets, but when they stage there, every room, every couch, every bed has a throw blanket on it.
That's a good observation. I did not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's like, they must have like a truck that comes by and just drops off like 50 of them whenever they're staging over there.
Hey, the staging job's done. Bring the blankets in.
Yeah. Bring them in and cover everything. We have to be warm here. Most expensive listing ever? You said you've got one coming up for $30 million.
Yeah, we're going to have a $30 million townhouse next year. We help like some developers with invest like in sites that they're going to build out on. And we've had some $20 million offers on some sites this year that didn't go through. We've done a couple of 10 to 11 millions. And I think when you ask what my favorite listing was, I'll mention one of those a little bit more. But we have a $17.5 million townhouse in Tribeca, also coming back to market after the holidays that I love, and a $13.5 million townhouse in the Upper East Side that's relaunching after the holidays that I love. So set our zone 10 to 15, 10 to 17. It's like kind of where our max price points are right now.
That's a 30 hits to be in.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
So you mentioned your favorite listing, 50 Wooster.
50 Wooster.
My grandma lived on Wooster Street in LA.
Oh, so it's a special street name? Yeah,
totally. Here's 50 Wooster. I mean, I love the windows. It's a loft or just high ceiling?
Yeah, we call it a loft, but it has 4 bedrooms in the back side, but it was just really cool. It was really wide. It had so much charm. But I think too, just, in New York, things can feel a little sterile. And as you know, I come from like somewhere else like this place felt like a home. And I don't get that feeling all the time in New York City. And this was like, just felt like good vibes, good energy. Just loved every second of selling it. And we were on it for the long haul. So I spent a significant amount of time there. Since it was so special, the owners wanted, their price for it. And so we went on that journey with them. But we closed for, I think, $10.25 million in like sometime this summer. So I met a few celebrities at this listing. We shot scenes for Netflix at this listing. Brandon showed this apartment on Owning Manhattan. It had a lot of special moments for us. We hosted a couple of podcast interviews. Ryan got interviewed by Matt Gray in this apartment. We were featured on the cover of Harper's Bazaar Hong Kong in this apartment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Our first magazine cover.
Oh, I think I saw it. Did you show me that? I came by your office once.
I think so, yes. Yeah.
Last year, I don't know, time. And I feel like I remember this now that I'm thinking about it.
I definitely told you.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And it's just like going to be one of those places I think that's just going to hold a spot in my heart for probably my entire career.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm looking at it. We're looking at it. I really like the vibe. I feel like it's kind of timeless-y. I mean, I'm sure whoever bought it gutted it and changed it.
Right, too.
But I like it's very bright and I mean, it's 4,000 something square feet, so it's not small, but looks like a really nice place to live. Really
I had,
homey.
yeah, really homey. Love this home. Yeah, it was ready for a renovation, but yeah, I'm sure somebody's gutting it right now, actually, probably as we speak. They were
Saying
listing.
so.
Yeah. And they bought it in
Okay.
the 90s for like $2 million. So also
Yeah,
not a bad return.
the last place I just toured was a $9 million spot on the Upper East Side, which they bought 25 years ago, full floor, also 4,000 something square feet. And yeah, I don't think they paid crazy for it back then, but also a nice little return on what they put out.
Yeah.
Wildest seller. What's your wildest seller? Tell us about
What
your
was I
wildest seller.
who was I thinking about for this?
The famous
Oh
person
my gosh.
spray.
Yes. Yes.
Nepo buyer, Nepo seller.
Yes. Okay. So famous person, I'll tell you when we get off the record. So his ex-wife reached out to me. They had bought this apartment for their daughter, but they're no longer together, but they have a good relationship. But the daughter was like, they bought it for the daughter. And actually, I was selling the apartment when they bought it, but they had a buyer's agent. But then when they were going to sell it again, they called me instead of their buyer's agent because we got along. We just like really hit it off. The ex-wife of this man who's very famous is an angel. She is like one of the most amazing women. I don't know how like she dealt with her ex-husband, but she is an angel. So her kids kind of one of her kids was partying so much in the apartment, the condo board kept fining them. And so she was like, we have to sell this apartment. We can't keep doing this. So I was like, okay, no problem. We'll get it taken care of. And they were like, it was only 2 years later. So they were like, well, we'll make some money. And I was like, yeah, you will make a little bit of money. So good investment still. Let's sell, whatever. So I would be like, we would have showings lined up for a Sunday. I'd have like an hour of showings. I'd text in the morning, like, hey, you ready? Like confirmed for 12 to 1, right? You're gonna leave the apartment, everything's good. Yeah, everything's good. I'm ready. And then I would get a text like literally as I'm walking into the building saying hi to the doorman. Hey, Mallory, I'm not gonna be able to leave the apartment today. I did mushrooms last night and I'm still tripping. I did mushrooms this morning and I thought I would be in a better place right now, but I'm not. I can't even get dressed. Like just constantly canceling all of my appointments, not with notice, but like right before they started. And I was like, how in the heck am I going to sell this apartment? And I was like, I tell her mom, like, I love you guys, but like, this is what I'm dealing with. And she
Hmm.
said, oh no. And then she would kept calling me, can you talk to her? Can you talk to her again? And so, you really get entwined with people's families sometimes. But we sold the apartment and they did make money on it. And I was a little bit relieved because it was just, it was difficult when you don't have good access. And then sometimes I would have access and it looked like shit in there.
Hmm.
So yeah, as a party pad would. But
Where was it? Where was it?
Williamsburg,
Not surprised.
yeah, in a very nice condo building in Williamsburg. So the board was like not having it. They don't like
How much is a board fine for partying?
so for smoking cigarettes inside the apartment, like $500 per
Wow,
occurrence.
that's an expensive cigarette.
That's a very expensive cigarette, probably the most expensive cigarette.
So that was the wildest seller. What about wildest home buyer?
The wildest home buyer didn't buy, but I'm going to talk about him anyway. I get this call, no, email first. So red flags already. But hey, I'm looking to buy in New York City. I live in the Netherlands. Work's been taking me to New York more and more, and I would just like to have a place there. And I really like New York, like legitimate story. But I have my guard up. Hey, like asked him a few questions. He wrote me back. Hey, let's get on a Zoom call. And I'm like, I'll know if it's real or not. Always. That's what we have to say as an industry. If they'll get on a Zoom call with us, then usually we're like good. And he says, yeah, of course, let's get on the Zoom call. We scheduled it and he showed up and he's a real life human and he's, probably like early 50s, like legitimate backstory. Everything's green flags. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do this. He has a $5 million budget. Awesome. he found me on the internet. That is how people find
Best
people
case.
these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is real. So I go on this journey. I start going to see homes. I FaceTime with him. We are like shopping. We put in an offer somewhere. It gets accepted. And I get a call from an agent at my company, and he's like, "Hey, I heard that Jan Peter is shopping with you." And I'm like, "Yeah, he is." He's like, "Yeah, he's not real. Like, I think I don't know what the deal is with him, but he does not have money. He will not show proof of funds," which I had been asking for 2 weeks for proof of funds. He would not. He had an excuse after excuse. But I just figured like he'll get to it. We don't need it yet. And they said he'll never come up with proof of funds. He doesn't have money, and he's been doing this for years. And I was like, "Are you sure?" And I don't know, he seemed so real and was like genuine. I was very confused by it. So I spoke to him and I said, "Hey, I got this phone call." And he was like, um, made up excuses for it. And then I got a phone call from another agent. And I was like, "Okay, two, I'm done. I get it. You can't ignore everything." But I approached him about it. I said, "I'm not going to be able to continue working with you because the industry has, like says that, and you're still not giving me proof of funds." Then he was trying to tell me I'll print something from the bank and I'll fly it to you to show you. And I'm like, "Well, then why can't you just email it to me?"
Yeah.
Send me a picture. Like he couldn't send anything legit. And I don't know why he does that. I don't know, but
For
people do
sport.
that. And just for sport, you talk to other real estate agents and everybody has a story like that. Almost everybody who's been selling real estate for more than 5 years has at least one. And I don't know if they get in their head that they can do that. I don't know. We don't know what the
Yeah.
end game is, but wasted a lot of time and money, and some Uber rides for me, like trying to go secure some, showings for him, but whatever. Part of the game.
Hey, I feel like Ryan in his book has a story like this, but he ended up selling to the cat. Like it ended up being real. But yeah, do people just do this for fun? Like,
Yeah.
I guess people,
Yes.
it's better than some weird things people do.
I have an agent who had an accepted offer with a guy for a $10 million condo, and he was making up excuses about his proof of funds. And I was like, "Oh, it's kind of a red flag, And she said, "Yeah, but I really think that he's real. I know if we have a friend in common." And then it comes out like he never goes into contract, never can provide proof of funds. It comes out a couple of weeks later that he has no money, like he's total fraud, and is like showing this like Playboy life, and he had no money, none. So sometimes it's just a facade, and I think sometimes people take their like boyfriend girlfriend to a showing to be like, "Oh yeah, I have this money," but it's not real. And we just have to deal with that shit.
Who has the time?
I know.
And you don't have the time.
No, I do not have the time. But, we try to do a little vetting, like send me your ID, get on Zoom, send me your proof of funds. That's why we ask for those things, because
Yeah.
the people that won't send them aren't real.
Yeah. You gotta filter those people out.
We try. We're not always successful.
So tell us about something that you hate that buyers do.
But yeah, the long list of things that I hate that buyers do. First of all, if you are casually shopping, you should not be asking for private appointments. If I have a private appointment booked, on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock, you're technically booking me from 12 to 2:30, because I have to get there early. I have to turn all the lights on if it's a big place. I have to be there with you. And for me to get there and then somebody be like, "Oh yeah, I just wanted to see it. I'm not really buying. I just thought come to the open house. Please, for the love of all things, come to the open house. That's what it's for." Or come when I'm like, say, "Hey, when are you showing?" So I can stack on. But like, people just do that shit all the time, and they submit offers with no interest in buying the property. We'll have it like, "Oh yeah, the seller loves your offer. We're gonna accept it." "Oh no, I don't want to actually buy it." Why are you? Why do you do these things? So everything I can't stand is really about wasting time, because they just, everybody's so squeezed with time. Our time is money. And and then also I always talk about like people like love an apartment or love a house, and they're walking through and they're trashing it because they're like like reverse psychology. This sucks and this sucks, and why they do that, and this is ugly. And then they're like submit an offer the next day. I'm like, you.
Oh, is it bipolar?
I know. And I know, like, once I get the offer, like, oh, they were doing that to try to, like, oh, she'll go tell the owners that their place sucks and they'll be more
Mhm.
negotiable. But it kind of makes us not, it makes, doesn't make us more negotiable. It makes us more hesitant to move forward with people like that because they are like, like, are they going to get through the inspection? Are they going to be interested in actually going to contract and closing? So,
So don't be fake. You don't have to be trashing the place. Just keep your emotions to yourself and then later say you're interested. You don't need to
yeah.
be such a hater.
y-
It's not working.
Yeah. Let's have good energy. If you
Yeah.
like it, let's like be positive then.
Yeah, yeah. Don't hit me up the next day after saying you hated everything about it and saying I'm ready to make an offer.
Yes. This woman literally came to my open house one time, and I found out later she had been to the open house before that somebody else, our open house, same place, but different agent was there the weekend before. So it was her second visit. But I was there and she was trashing it. And she was like, the flimsy cabinets. And there were other people in my open house there. And I was like, will you, like, please stop? What are you doing?
Chill.
Yeah. And she was like, cheap, cheap, knocking on countertops. I'm like, ma'am, if you don't like it, could you please leave? She submitted an offer the next day. I was like,
People want to feel special and important and heard and seen.
yeah, they do.
So what about agents? What do you hate that agents do, other agents?
Letting their buyers do all of those things. No, agent to agent. First of all, I have like massive respect for real estate agents in New York City. I think those of us who are that have a business have survived because it's really hard to build the business in New York, and I have a lot of respect for them because it's to do one big sale can be a one hit wonder, a fluke. To build a business on them means that you have really like built a business, you've been determined, you're passionate about it. And so I have a lot of respect for real estate agents, but they're like horrible when they're being so nice to you, so nice to you, you're doing a deal together and you ask for something that is totally normal and standard for your client and they lose their mind, their ego gets the best of them, and they just like start being mean because they didn't get their way on one thing. And I'm like, we have to collaborate. Like both of us want to close with our clients happy. There shouldn't be fighting. There shouldn't be going to the mattresses. Like we're all just trying to like, hey, my client's interested in your client's home. These are the terms they're willing to pay. Does that work for your client? And we can just collaborate on everything else. There's no reason for like the aggression. And some agents, like you ask for one thing and then they just flip a switch. Like, whoa, where would the nice person go? They do, but I can't stand that. Like, just be yourself.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't get it.
No reason to. There's more than enough space. There's more than enough listings. There's no reason. Like, we're going to see each other again. Like, there's no reason for any of this drama.
Yes. And every time somebody's really like kind of mean and dramatic, they need something from me like 2 weeks later for a different apartment.
That's the
Like,
thing. Like, like, you're going to see them. They're going to talk. Like, you're going to need something from you. They're going to need something from you in a few months, or they're going to show up to your open house. So it's a small world.
Mhm.
So why,
Very small world.
why, be like that? Why act like that?
Don't burn the bridge.
Don't burn any bridges. Anything else? Any other stories? You mentioned a squatter. Um,
Oh, the squatter.
yeah, tell us about
Yeah.
the squatter.
This has an Oklahoma tie-in, actually. So I get this call from a real estate agent in Oklahoma, and he's like, "Hey, I got your information from so and so. My stepdaughter inherited a house in Queens, and we don't know like much about it, but we need to sell it. We saw what the property taxes are going to be. They live in Oklahoma, so for even Queens, which has low property taxes for New York City, that they were astronomically high for somebody in Oklahoma who was living modestly too. And so they said, we got to get rid of this immediately. Well, come to find out like more information, her biological father, who she wasn't close with, but had passed away, his girlfriend had moved into the house previously at some point and was living there, and she had squatter rights. So this was like right after COVID too, or like right at the end of COVID. And they were like, what do we do? How do we get her out? It's another example of selling a house with somebody inside of it that came with a human being. But We we were working with the attorney, the city, like all this stuff. Like, nope, you can't get her out. It was total, like, getting rid of people during COVID was impossible. She wasn't paying like rent, she wasn't paying for the bills. And then in the dead of winter, I get this phone call from her because she would not answer my calls because I was like, oh, can we like offer her some money? Like, we were trying to see if we could collaborate about it. She calls me. She's like, the gas that or the oil, the house was heated by oil, still oil tank. The oil tank's out. You need to get somebody here to fill the oil tank today, and hung up on me. I'm like, what? So I talked to the attorney. The attorney's like, yeah, the owner has to fill her oil tank. It is required by law. You'll start getting fined by the city if you don't go fill the oil tank. So we had to fill the oil tank twice that winter, which was like, I don't know, $1,200 each time. But it was crazy. Like, she wasn't paying, and the man who passed away, his like one of his credit cards was auto paying the electric bill. So she was paying nothing.
Wow.
And the daughter who inherited the house was paying the tax bill, like all this stuff out of pocket. And I said, listen, do you want to sell it for like, less than market value? And they're like, yes, anything, please get out from under this. So never did, like, sold it to somebody off market and never even stepped foot inside. I never even stepped foot inside. The owner never stepped foot inside. The buyer never stepped foot inside.
Does the squatter have to leave after that, or it's still an issue? Still an
He was waiting. He just held out waiting for them to open up the, like, I don't know if it was eviction court. I think it was eviction court. But I did find out that it took him over a year to get her out. And he was starting to go through like financial duress from it. I felt really bad, but he knew what he was getting into, but you don't want that to happen to somebody. And
yeah.
we all offered her money. Like, it was just, she was like not leaving. So
living free.
Living free.
Give that up.
Yeah, I know. But that'd be nice. No, it wouldn't be nice.
One thing I just thought of, like, how do you feel about like every agent has to become is like a star now?
Like, on the internet? Yeah, I'm at the brokerage where we do content.
Yeah. I mean, you're right in the thick of it, but if you're an agent in Oklahoma, you've got to start making videos and being out in front of camera, and your clients expect it.
Yeah, so I'm obviously a huge supporter of content. I get phone calls now every week where people are like, "Oh, can you come meet with me? I want to sell my home," and I'll go meet with them, and I'll leave, and it'll go really well, and they'll tell me, "You know what? I actually decided I was hiring you before I even met you because of like watching your videos," and like they feel like they get to meet you without having to go through things. So it adds an extra layer of like their research that makes it more personal for them. And if they're if you collect referrals from your friends of like real estate agents that they liked, or you're Googling and you have this short list and you go Google all of them and you're getting some like flavor of somebody that you like, and then the others you're not, I just think it's solidifying their relationship with me. And so even if you're not doing it right now, it's like it's just getting like more and more. That's where the world's going. And so if you're not starting it now, you're just going to be like behind. And for people who have been in the business a long time, they just like don't want to do it. I think it's like, okay, maybe you have a book of business and you can keep, doing business off of your book. But for people trying to grow their business and take market share and grow teams, it's a non-negotiable for us.
Yeah. And when someone like Googles or something, they want to see current, recent updates, they can't have, you can't be stale.
And they want to know their property is going to be on social media. They want to know that you understand it and you know how it works, because a lot of our clients don't even use it, but they just want us to use it. Like, they don't need to be on it to know that they want us to be good at it. It's too important. It's more important than the website. People don't even go to our website anymore. They go to our Instagram pages.
Yeah, and that's like the first result. So that's what they're going to see. They're searching for you on Instagram to see. And yeah, it's amazing how many agents that I've look up that, don't have an Instagram. They don't have a Facebook or their website. The best is when the website links to the wrong Facebook or the wrong Instagram. And or like you can't find an email address. It's like
stuck your stuff.
There's so many out there that I've run into that I'm like, how? I mean, they must have books of business for years or something, because
Yeah.
like I can't get a hold of you, and I'm good at finding people.
I think that's it. I think some people have their book of business and they're cool with that, and that's fine. But yeah, for those that want new clients and want to grow, it's required. But I had this agent say to me last week, like, "Oh, everybody at your company wants to be famous," and I had never really even thought of it like that, because I think some people think doing social media means you want the attention. And I'm like, oh, that's one way of looking at it, but it's not the way I look at it. And right now, I just consider it part of my business. It's like, you have to do your financials, you have to do your advertising, you have to do your Instagram. Like, it's just part of our business plan. So I thought it was interesting that they said that. But, exposure is exposure. And when people are wanting to sell their home for the most amount of money, they want the most exposure possible, because maybe that person that's willing to pay that wants their home the most, that's willing to pay the biggest amount for it, is going to see it somewhere else. So
Yeah, you never know who's gonna what eyeballs. That's where I reach out for so many mansions, and generally I get a lot of yeses, but
yeah.
there are some that are like, no, the owner doesn't want it. And it's like, this is like 40 million bucks. Like, I'll get you more eyeballs on Zillow Gone Wild than the Wall Street Journal and everywhere else. So
Yeah, that's
for you.
insane exposure. Like,
Yeah.
even if like I tell real estate agents who I like do coaching with, like, you don't be upset that your reel got 1,000 views. If you were in a room of 1,000 people that got to see, like, that's a lot. That's awesome. Like, it's just also you spreading your brand and giving exposure to a listing. It's like, yeah, it's any
Just
exposure is
being
great, but
more
your
like,
exposure is like actually insane.
yeah.
I can imagine anybody turning you down, but
Yeah,
maybe they just don't know. They don't get it.
They don't
Yeah.
know. They don't get it. Yeah. Well,
Some people don't.
I guess, did you want to say, you have a favorite listing right now?
Well, my favorite listing right now, we have 55 Warren Unit 3 is this loft in Tribeca, just under $6 million. It's going to be coming back to the market after the holidays. And I have this gorgeous townhouse in Carroll Gardens that is also 6 million. Yes, I love this apartment. I don't know.
Throw rug right here.
It's real. That was tenants.
Oh, yeah?
Not a staging job. No, it's getting staged right now because the tenants just moved out. But this was tenant furniture. I really lucked out with
Nice.
the tenant furniture.
Yeah, it did well.
But it has a
Looks like a great
very
barrel.
long hallway. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I love
If
looking
you
went along
it's
with
floor through, it's in a boutique building, so the common charges are low. But
Oh, wow.
look at that hallway.
that. Whoa, you can get some
That's a
good steps
skateboarder
in
hallway.
here. Yeah.
It's really long in person. People look
We
down and
call
they're
it
like,
an LAH, a long ass hallway. Wow.
it's like, that is definitely an LAH.
Yeah.
But I like this listing a lot.
That's
I always
awesome.
live here.
Yeah, I like
Look, the floor plan looks funny because of it. It looks like a fork. It's missing a stick.
It's like a castle, kind of castle.
It does look like a castle.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Mallory, for being on my first ever podcast episode. Everyone out there, be sure to follow her on all her social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere.
At Mallory Bogard.
Yes. And be sure to follow me at Samir. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, subscribe to the podcast. Let us know what other agents that you all want to see on the show. And thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
For doing this with me.
Always a pleasure to hang out with you.
Likewise.